Okay, so for the coin, the probability experiment would be flipping a coin, the sample space. The only two possible outcomes is that you land on heads or you land on tails. Given that it's a fair coin, there are such thing as like a two-headed nickel, but that's not considered a fair coin. So if we're dealing with probability experiments, most of the time they'll say, given that it's a fair coin. An event would be, they're interested in it landing on heads, or the only other event that it could be is that it lands on tails. These are outcomes. This is obviously I flipped the coin twice. The first time it landed on heads, the second time it landed on tails. This outcome is the result of me flipping the coin 3 times, and all 3 times it landed on tails. And then this is an example of an outcome when I flipped the coin just once and it landed on heads. So these are all examples of outcomes just depending on, how many times I was told to flip the coin. For this one over here, this was my biggest shocker when I first started teaching this class. And it is because my high school kids more so than my adult class, but my high school kids do not know about decks of cards. They were missing questions on the test because they didn't know what a suit was. So I'm going to be giving you some vocabulary words. I'm going to show you in the book where to find the sample space for a deck of cards. But for heaven's sakes, go to the dollar store, plop down $1 and buy you a deck of cards, open them up, fan them out, and look at them. You are going to need to do that because I'm telling you, there's going to be several questions that deal with cards on your second test. All right, so the probability experiment here is going to be drawing a card. It could be, draw 2 cards. Who knows? Draw a card, put it back, draw a second card. There's lots of different experiments, but it all involves the drawing of a card. The sample space, I didn't write it because the sample space contains, is there 52 or 51? I don't know. Let's see. Contains, let's go over here and see. 51, I believe. Let's see. Here's the textbook. Here I am. I'm on page 134 in your textbook. And this is the outcome of, this is the sample space. So that's why I didn't write it down. And I believe that is 13. There's 13 cards in each suit, and there's 4 suits. So it's 52 cards, not 51. Oh, I should have known. 52 card pickup. Y'all ever play that? The older kids, the older cousins, always, got the younger cousins by saying, hey, yeah, we want to play a new card game? Let's play 52 card pickup. And then they throw all the cards on the floor. And then, of course, the younger kid has to pick it up or you get beat up. That's the way we roll at my family. So let's look at this real quick. Okay, of course, it's being slow. But these right here, this is a suit. S-U-I-T. These are suits. The hearts, the diamonds, the spades, and the clubs. All right, so those are called suits. The hearts and the diamonds are red, the clubs and the spades are black, and you have these things right here. These are called face cards. face cards. And the reason they're called face cards is because when you look at them, there's a king, a queen. I don't know if we have that on here or not. Boy, that is really slowing everything down. Let's see if I can find a face card. And maybe there we go. Those are face cards. Now, notice that there's a couple of different distinctions. Here, they're including the ace. Here, they're not including the ace. I wouldn't include the ace as a face card. I would just include the jack, king, queen. Those are what I know to be a face card. So, anyway, that's why they're called face cards, okay? What else do you need to know? Let's go back to the textbook. Ace, it's not really going to matter much in this course, but an ace can be smaller than a 2, kind of act like a 1, or it could be bigger than a king. It can play on both ends. But anyway, that's the sample space. So back to what I was writing down right here. Your sample space right here contains 52 cards. And I just didn't want to list them all. What did I say it was on? What page was it on? Page 134. 52 cards. Page 134. So either go buy yourself a deck of cards or, so that you can kind of flip through them and see what's happening, or, study that page, because we're going to be doing several problems that involve a deck of cards. Some of these things right here is an example of an event, and this is what I mean when I say that you need to know the vocabulary. You also need to know how many there are. When we start actually calculating probability, which we'll do in just a second, you have to know how many red cards there are. Well, you have to know that there's 52 cards total in the sample space. Half of them are red. So what's half of 52? 26. You have to know how many spades there are. Well, a spade is a suit, and there's 13 cards in each suit. You have to know how many face cards there are. King, queen, and jack. And there's 4 suits. So 4 times 3, there's 12 face cards. So you need to know all this. This is an example of an outcome. I drew a card. What did I draw? I drew the 4 of hearts. Okay? Put the card back. I drew another card. This time I picked the ace of spades. So you'll just need to be familiar with the vocabulary. That's all this first page was about. Just understanding the vocabulary. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. The next thing we're going to be going over is identifying what a simple event is. So a simple event versus an event that's not simple. That's where we'll start with the next video.